Today we will going to show some of the lost cities our civilization has been found. First, Baiae in Italy. Did you know that Italy used to have an ancient city comparable to Las Vegas? Baiae was a Roman city that was well known as a prominent resort city for hundreds of years. It was frequently visited by the Roman elite, rich and powerful. Even Nero, Cicero, and Caesar were among many influential figures. To both visit and have vacation villas there, so it was obviously all the range. The city was positioned over natural volcanic vents, which ended up being both its attraction and its downfall. These vents were utilized as medicinal hot spring, and the Romans realized quite early on that they were easy to build spas over around the 8th centuries, as those volcanic vents that lured in visitors were responsible for rising water levels. Today, it's an underwater archaeological park that visitors can explore while snorkeling, scuba diving, and swimming. That you can even take a trip on a glass-bottom boat to check out the crumbling remains. Next, Atlit-Yam in Israel. Archaeologists discovered more than they possibly thought they would when they chanced upon a new underwater city of Atlit-Yam in Israel, dated back around 8,000 years ago and spanned about 47,000 square yards. Rather than feature old statues and temples like many lost cities, though this one appeared to be one of agro-pastoral marine subsistence system. It was found on the Lebanite coast and was thought to have been home to a society who survived on fishing, hunting, livestock farming, and crop cultivation. After carrying out surveys of the site, archaeologists discovered stone walls, wells, houses, and even a megalithic monument. However, they also found human remains. 65 human skeletons were found, including of a woman and child. What was particularly interesting about these two, though, was that they were thought to have been suffering from tuberculosis. Therefore, archaeologists not only discovered a new underwater city, but potentially the earliest known cases of the disease. Scientists also believe that Atlit-Yam was abandoned due to a tsunami hitting the region, possibly caused by a volcanic eruption. Next, Kalyazin bell tower in Russia, over the water of Atlit reservoir opposite Kalyazin on the Volga, where you might see something quite large protruding out of the water. It's not your eyes playing tricks on you, and strikingly beautiful structures sitting randomly in the water in the Titicaca of this northwestern Russia. But there's good reason why the structure Kali is in bell tower and nothing else is. The tower was built between 1796 and 800 to form part of the monastery of St. Nicholas. At that time, the area already had a funicular Catholicon, which is a church dating back to 1694. It was built with 12 bells, and some weighed as much as 37 pounds in 1939. Joseph Stalin requested the construction of the Atlit-Yam, which would form the Atlit Reservoir. As a result, several old parts of Kalyazin, including medieval structures, ended up being submerged in water. The Teriyosky, McCreeve, and St. Nicholas monasteries were among them. Even though the Catholicon was dismantled, the bell tower was left alone. Now it rises about 244 feet above the water and has become a tourist attraction. There's even a small pier for boats. Next, Sunken city of Cuba is certainly up for debate. Some people say it's a sunken city, while others believe they are just unique products of nature. Whichever side of the fence you're on, there is no denying what lies in the Pinar del Rio province of Cuba is a little bit absurd. Marine engineer Pauline Selitsky and her husband Paul Wedzwig were on a survey mission in 2001 with the Cuban government. When they discovered some strange sonar images, they noted a series of organized sound structures about 2,132 feet below the ocean's surface against the barren deserts of the ocean floor. They appeared to be asymmetrical, and it was immediately thought that they might be signs of an underwater city. Government, national museums, and even National Geographic all vowed to investigate. And then most people heard nothing more about what became of this supposed underwater city. Well, researchers actually went back to the site and saw large blocks of stones that looked like hewn granite. Some of them looked stacked on top of each other, but others were on their own. Because of the depth where it would have taken around 50,000 years of them to sink. The architectural abilities were not advanced back, so it was decided that time frames didn't align for this to be anything other than natural playing a joke on us. Next, pre-Incan ruins in Lake Titicaca. In the year 2000, archaeologists were diving on Lake Titicaca between Peru and Bolivia. In the Andes, when they stumbled upon what they believed was a massive ancient temple they had made more than 200 dives in the lake before, they came across a holy temple above Fire Income Road, a containing wall of a terrace of crops. They even managed to find ceramic artifacts on the lake floor. There have always been rumors about the lost underwater city in Titicaca, but diving and altitude had always made it tricky to verify. The lake is 12,467 feet above sea level, making it the highest navigable lake in the world. Still, what they managed to find back in 2000 was proof enough that there was some kind of a civilization dating back around 1,500 years. It wasn't thought to belong to the Incas, but it leans more towards the Tiwanaku people who lived on the lake shores before joining the Incan Empire since 2000. Several new discoveries have been made. There are now 24 discovered archaeological sites under the lake, and plans are underway to preserve both the land and underwater structures in a museum. Next, the underwater sculpture park in Moliner Bay. If you happen to visiting the west coast of Grenada, then it's worth paying a visit to the world's first underwater sculpture park in Moliner Bay. The park was constructed to regenerate the area after storm damage. It would also have the added bonus of providing home for a coral and algae. Whether you can go snorkeling or scuba diving, you're gonna experience something truly remarkable. There are several concrete and steel structures bolted to the seafloor to lure divers in for a closer look. Jason DeCaires, tailor and artist, photographer, environmentalist, and sculptor from Britain, is responsible for the creation of the majority of the sculptures. There are 65 in total, with some beautiful pieces such as the Lost Correspondence, the Vicissitudes, and Cries of the Deep. The park has been open since 2006, and so far the sculptures are holding up well. Some of the sculptures aren't in the best condition, but it doesn't distract from the experience. What's more, the entry fees to visit are used to help marine management initiatives, so it's a win-win. Next, the lost villages in Canada. Flood, tsunami, and earthquake ravage many towns in villages, sometimes the odd volcanic eruption as well. But the 10 communities consisting of 9 villages in a populated island in Ontario, Canada were ruined in an altogether different way. These villages, former Cornwall and Osnabrück, were submerged to make way for the St. Lawrence Seaway in 1958 and the Moises Sanders Power Dam construction in 1954. Fortunately, they didn't just flood the villages with no warning, and it was a monumental planning exercise that involved moving families and businesses to nearby communities and buying out the landowners. Alongside those villages, the town of Heracles was moved nearly a mile north, and its previous location was flooded as well. Morrisburg was partially flooded but moved to higher ground. Even a portion of highway 2 had to be rebuilt along the Canadian National Railway. In total, 530 buildings were moved. Plenty more demolished, and around 6,500 people had to uproot their lives and go somewhere else. Not everyone happy about it either, as several people believe the market value of their home had suffered due to the flood, so they didn't receive the payout that they were owed. The world we know today is nothing like thousands of years ago, and that's proven by a sheer number of structures cities we're finding underwater. Do you live near any of these? Please check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy our documentary about the lost cities. See you next time and have a fantastic one. Goodbye for now, friends.